Hi guys, welcome to Zero Chills TV. Today I'm hosting one of Kenya's most handsome writers. I've been paid to say that, of course. His name is Brian Mbanacho. Brian Mbanacho, one of the few writers who are also copywriters in the country. So all this information by then imelipwa niseme. It's all for him. So thank you for joining the show. Make sure you ask your questions to Brian Mbanacho. Mbanacho, karibu to the Zero Chills TV family.
Yeah, thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Eddie.
Yeah. Tell us, quite which this question I hate it all because I never know how to answer it. Tell us something.
Which question?
About
myself.
Tell us something about yourself. Yeah.
What do I say? So my name is Brian Mbanacho. I am a creative writer. I used to be a copywriter. I still do some copywriting here and there, but right now I'm focused on only creative writing and storytelling. I love chapo and tea, as you can see. And basically, I think that's all you guys need to know, at least for the introduction bit.
Short and sweet. So it's interesting that you are a copywriter before you became I should not say quit, but you left copywriting to become a full-time creative writer. How has been the journey for you and the transition? Just to explain that a copywriter writes specifically advertisements for companies and whatnot, and now you are doing the whole encompassing or the meshment of everything. How has it been so far?
It's been amazing. It's been amazing. I would say, yeah, it's been amazing, but at the same time, it's been challenging, because basically I was moving from having a paycheck at the end of every month to basically becoming a hawker. There's no paycheck for you to work for your money every single day. Yeah, the same way guys wake up in the morning, like also Mjengo, you have to wake up, do something to get that money every single day. So if at the end of the day, by the end of the month, if you haven't worked or you haven't done anything, then most definitely you're not going to earn any money. And that can be challenging, especially because, when you're used to a paycheck, you just go to the office there and start sleeping. Or listen to music, or log in on YouTube and listen to music or watch music videos the whole day. You still get paid, as long as you're still in the payroll. But now once you're out here, it's a bit different. But at the same time, because it's something that I love, it's not like I was fired or anything, because it's something that I love doing, the creative writing. And I even started writing, doing the storytelling and everything before I became a copywriter, So it was simply going back to my roots. And it's been challenging, but at the same time, it's been amazing. It's been fulfilling. At least I'm here doing the thing that I love doing and earning a living from it. So I cannot complain.
So you say writing has been, going back to your roots for you. And for most writers, your primary audience, which by the way, some chick told me to tell you that they formed a book club to be discussing you. Now, she was not specific whether it's you, the writer, so I don't know. I could show you the message, but then, breach of privacy. So primarily you write all over the place. I follow your content on Facebook because you've paid me to be following your content on Facebook. And,
you also have a blog. Paid me to become my follower. Okay, yeah.
No.
No, you paid me to become my follower.
How has it been marketing your work out here, considering that writing now is all that pays your bills? How has it for you been to market your work out here?
Talking about the same thing every day it can be a bit boring, like every day coming out, tell people, oh, I have a book, it's called so and so, please come and buy. I have a book, come and buy, and all these kind of things. It can be boring. So what I do is that I try to do a little bit of storytelling even in the marketing of the books, right? So that guys still get to be entertained while at the same time trying to convince them to buy my book. So for me, the main issue has been I get bored quite fast, right? Talking about the same thing, come and buy, come and buy. I simply love to write stories, let people read, enjoy, and then I move on with my life. But now the marketing bit, you have to be annoying. Like every day you're reminding people, hey, there's a book here. In fact, for me, I have like 3, so you need to buy and everything. It's something I'd really rather not be doing, if I'm being honest. But
Yes.
so I just keep doing it. I try to tell a story while at the same time marketing the book. So that way, even someone, if they don't even end up buying, at the end of the day, they still be entertained and come back for more stories. And perhaps they'll buy on a different day. So yeah.
Yeah. But as a person who has written 3 books, and I'm sure there are more in the pipeline, for you,
Yes.
Just the process and the discipline of having maybe your own family and selling books as you write others.
As you write others.
Maybe you should write as you write other books. That is, if you could run us through your typical day as a writer, how it is. Just show people how easy or how hard it is in case someone wants to become a writer.
Yeah, so this way I'm going to pretend that I actually have a profound way of how I do my things. But basically this is the thing. So I love working with targets, right? I set out targets. I'm like, maybe in the next month, I want to do ABCD. Or rather, before the year ends, I need to have done ABCD. Now, for instance, when I start writing a book, most of my books, they take me more than a year. There's a book I've been working on now. I think it's now close to 2 years. I'm still working on it. So when I do that, I know before this year ends, this book needs to be ready. So what do I do? When I wake up, for instance, to get in the mood to start writing, I'm never in the mood to simply wake up and start writing or anything. I always read. So either read a book, maybe just a chapter, or even a blog, or anything that I might find interesting. I read it, it gets me in the mood, and then I start writing. So I usually set out, let's say, in a week, I want to write, let's say, 2-3 chapters of a book, for instance. So every day I'll dedicate, let's say, at least 2 to 3 hours towards achieving that goal. Sometimes I always achieve it. Most times I don't, because, writers and procrastinating, this thing is, I start reading and then I forget I was supposed just to read to get me in the mood and then start writing. So I keep reading until I forget the writing part. But basically, I set my targets. I wake up, I know I need to write a chapter. I'll work on that chapter today, even if it's not perfect. I never intend to write the perfect story at once, at a go. I just write, put the idea down, right? I can always come back to it and polish it until it becomes a good story. So that's how I basically do it. But the stories that I mostly write every day is the one I share on social media. Yeah. I always know I have to share a story once or twice a day. Those ones are usually impromptu. I never really plan I'm going to write this thing. It depends. Maybe something happens, and then I write about it. Or I remember something that happened in Kitambo, I'll write about it. Or someone tells me a story, I will write about it, So those ones are just random. But now when it comes to the books, I usually plan. And I always give myself at least 1 year to finish a book. Yeah.
1 year to finish a book, and some of us can't even take what is the best example? I can't even cook for 10 minutes because I get tired. Like, lazima nipike chakula. Sikuna globo. But maybe something that, you've mentioned something about having the discipline and the patience to write for 1 year. And maybe just to be able to take you back a bit. Being as a copywriter, most of the time, the work that you put is short, punchy content. But when it comes to writing books, it's a long story. How then do you differentiate those two people? How do you, just jump from one frame of mind to another, such that people do not essentially think that you can just become a copywriter and become a writer at the same time?
And become a writer.
Exactly. I was reading a quote today by Sidney Sheldon where he was saying, a blank piece of paper is God's way of telling us how hard it is to be God. So for you, how hard is it to be God?
That's a good question. That's a good question. So for me, when it comes to copywriting, copywriting is like writing I wouldn't even compare to writing a short story, because that's a different thing. But copywriting, basically, it is selling. So you focus more on the selling. It cannot maybe necessarily just, I want to sell this particular product. You might want to be informing people about a particular product, simply sharing information about a particular product and everything. So for me, when I'm doing anything that's related to copywriting, I always have a brief. You see, a company will always send you a brief. They'll tell you, listen, we are selling, we have a new cup in the market, and I don't know, it's beautiful. It's almost the size of a birika or something, so you don't need to take so many cups of tea or anything. So you go ahead and sell it. So it's simply to spin something about this particular cup with the aim, whatever the client wants. If they want people to know that there's a cup here that they can buy, I'll simply tell them. It's basically telling people what the client tells you, now in a better way. Tell people I have a new cup in the market, they can go and buy. Or tell people the benefits of this cup, for instance. So it is about, it's more about selling, passing on information. When it comes to storytelling, when it comes to now switching to writing books, for instance, for me, now this is about bringing people into a different world, a world with characters that may or may not sound familiar, a world where so many things are happening and you want to pass a message or not, or maybe simply want to entertain and everything. I always think of a reader. For me, I'm always like my own sample of sample audience, right? I write the way I read. When I start writing a story, for instance, I always love stories. I don't like stories that drag and drag and drag. I'm a so much background information and all this kind of thing. I just want the story that starts, with the action. This and this is happening, and then inaendelea pale. So the way I write for my books is the same way I read. Like for me, when I'm reading a book, the first few chapters I might be very bored. I'm like, where is this story going?
Yeah.
It may take me, let's say, a week or something, or even 2 weeks to read 2 chapters of a book, because it is boring. I don't understand where this story is headed to. But once now I get to the gist of the story, I can put that book down. So the way I write is that I know the story is this is the most important part of the story. I love starting with that part when I'm writing my own stories now for the books, So forget about all this background and all this man of things. Simply start the story and then take it from there. That's how I do. So when I'm writing copywriting, basically it's executing the client's brief. I always insist you must write me a brief. I need to know what exactly it is that you want to achieve with whatever I'm going to write for you. For me, when it comes to the stories, I believe, number one, it doesn't matter what you're talking about. The story has to be interesting. It has to be entertaining, So I always focus on that bit of like, I want to make this story interesting for someone to actually read. And basically, that's how I switch between the two. I don't know if I've made sense.
Do you think you've made sense? That's up to you.
Yeah, it makes sense. Right. So.
Yeah. Well, you've said that you normally just, what is it called? You pick a story. You start a story.
Yeah.
And you take it from there. So, if, for instance, let's talk about which nyinyi tumeandika vitabu mingi, mnatupea pressure hata tunashangaa tuchague nani. Let's talk about maybe let's talk about after this. Yeah.
After the
So
storm, yeah.
yeah, probably when you started the story, does it mean
Yes.
then that I know there's a sequel to The Honorables, but
Yeah.
then because you said you just start a story, like we could start talking about your shoes, which are very clean. I forgot to tell our ladies, this guy is very clean by the way. So if you're talking about your shoes, and then you
Yeah.
talk about it until it becomes a book, then
Mm-hmm.
you create a sequel, what inspires the events inside the book? Or is it something that you draw from your real life experience, or it's purely fiction, a life that you want to be lived somewhere else?
I will repeat that question, please. Can you repeat that question?
Okay,
You lost me somewhere.
okay, wacha tukutane katikati. I'm asking,
Tukutane katikati. Yeah.
you've said that you normally just start a story and continue with it, let it flow. But there are other
Yeah.
writers out here who probably plan everything, you know? They're like,
Yes.
so I saw maybe my mother got married to, you know, a man with one eye,
Yeah.
and I've always been interested in men with one eye. So you write a story
Yes.
about men with one eye. But for you,
Okay.
it's just, is it something that comes to you as you write the story, and then things just flow by themselves, or it's something that has a structure?
No, thank you. I now understand you. I never use a structure. I never have a structure, right? For me, it's basically getting the idea. Like, what is it that I want to write about? Let's say, for instance, in After the Storm, right? After the Storm is a sequel to a story that I was writing on my blog called Love Scandal. And basically, the Love Scandal is about a guy who, dating so many chicks here and there. He was not in any way interested in settling down and everything. So you basically right. And I
Sounds like a
wrote
personal
about
story.
no, I'm a very faithful guy. So so this guy, yeah, basically was just playing around with girls and everything, but eventually he fell in love and then he got married. He got married to a chick, yeah, called Eve. The guy is called Tony, right? Now, this is the thing. Because I was writing it on the blog, yeah? It was basically, when is today? Today is Monday. I think I was writing it on every Monday, right? So I'll be like, today is Monday, so what can be Tony be up to today? And then I'll just write something about it. Now, when it came to writing now the sequel to it, which is now After the Storm, I could not just go on telling people about how this guy is cheating and sleeping with different cats and everything. The thing was, Tony has settled down, but we all know that you can't just change overnight, right?
Yeah.
At one point, you're a player. Now you've said marriage, the boredom that comes with marriage after being with someone for quite a long time, it starts kicking in. And he wasn't the only one feeling it. Even Eve was feeling it and everything, right? So I remember when the idea came for me to write this book, I simply thought about it this way. These two, they had quite an eventful dating life. Now they are married, doing the normal boring things that married people do. Yeah, they need to do something. So what do they do? So I just thought about it in Nikasema, all right, what if, yeah, what if they decide, now the idea came from Eve, what if for one night we go out as single people, right? And try to see if we can mingle with other guys, just act as if we're not married or anything, just to spice up our marriage and everything. But wasn't supposed to be anything serious about it. But once they get there in that club, of course, this one goes and sits on their own table, the other one and in a car at a different table and everything. Of course, someone called Raymond, it's on Eve. And at the end of the night, when Eve is leaving with her husband, who is Tony, Raymond is like, yo, where are you going with my chick? So by the time Tony is trying to tell this guy, listen, this is my wife and everything, the fracas, and this guy is, Raymond is drunk. I mean, they've been drinking all night and everything. So what happens? Tony pushes Raymond, who hits his head, the back of his head on the slab and everything, and he happens to die. So my idea was, jail for manslaughter, and now Eve, once again, is going to be single. So what will happen? That was the whole motivation. Like, now what happens once Tony goes to jail and then Eve, of course, now remains to be out there without her husband because he's jailed and everything. What happens? So that was the question. What will happen? So I started writing from there. If I get ideas, I just kept flowing until the book was over. That was my motivation. But I didn't write that now Tony will go to jail and then this and this will happen and then that and that will happen. No. I only get that motivation of Tony being sent to jail for manslaughter. And then after that, the story took off. And that's why I say, for me, it is important for a story to simply start. Yeah, so that's why it simply starts with Tony going to jail. So that things can happen from there.
Important for a story to simply start. I don't want to say you sound like a motivational speaker, but you almost sound like a motivational speaker. Just start. Answer
a story, you know. Answer a story.
Because yes. Go on.
No, I was going to say this, right?
Yes.
You know, characters, just because they are characters in a book, doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have a life. Yeah?
Yeah.
You know how you wake up one day and you're like, oh, I love Chapo. And then 2 days later, you're like, Chapo is not really a big deal. So maybe by the time you start writing the story, your character will be in love with Chapo. But eventually, he'll fall out of love with Chapo. You understand?
Yeah.
So what does this mean? That if you put a structure and say, I want this, for me, I always feel this way. If I decide that I want this story and this and this and this to happen, you will not be allowing your characters to grow. Yeah. Whereas if you just let them just do their thing, the way normal people, you wake up and you go out and you do these things and you change your perception about so many things, you grow. So for me, I always love letting my characters to grow, to fall in love, to fall out of love, to one day like certain thing, the next day they don't. So that's how I basically stories.
Yeah. That's beautiful. If you put a structure, you make your characters not to grow. That is very bad English that I've just used there. Anyway, I'd like to thank Herman Kamariki Galava for tuning in as well, and Johnny Dark, who is asking, which is your favorite book from the 3 titles you've written? I am sure your favorite book is the Bible, but
that's like asking, that's like asking who among these your children is your favorite. when your children are all standing there, like you see, I have the storm here and I have the Honorable somewhere there, so they're waiting to hear. But no, Mimi, I love all the 3 books, but I love all the 3 books. I have to say that. After the Storm and the Honorables, they're quite 2 different books, even in style and everything, because I was doing it deliberately to make them different. Yeah, I didn't want to sound the same in every book that I write. So I love all of them, but because After the Storm was my first one, I'll go with that. If I have to choose, I'll choose After the Storm.
True love is always the first love.
yeah, exactly. It's my first love, the first book and everything. Yeah. So if I have to choose, I'll go with it.
Yeah, Ovita is asking, do you consume local content? If yes, which local writer apart from Eddie Ashoya do you think have done impeccable work when it comes to literature work?
When it comes to literature work. Like the most impeccable work I've read from a local writer.
Yeah, don't feel pressure to mention my name. It's okay.
I'm not even going to mention. You don't feature anywhere. You don't feature anywhere. You should change careers and become a teller or something.
Wow.
So number one, I do consume local content. But mostly social in terms of blogs and everything. For instance, for me, for blogs, I think because Zulu is just out there, doing wonderful things. But in terms of books, I'm going to go with Uni Mbambazi. Her book Breaking Down is it's such a profound book. You know, the topics that she handles in that book, they are quite heavy. They're things that most people normally wouldn't be talking about them.
Yeah.
Like she handled it quite well. So if I'm going to pick maybe a book that stood out for me from a local writer, I'm going to say Breaking Down by Uni Mbambazi.
Breaking Down by Unia Mambazi, which is funny because Unia was also in season 1. She was part of, we had hosted her in season 1. And I think she mentioned something nice about you as well. So I don't know if you guys had a debrief where you talked about each other.
You know, by the time I bought Unia's Breaking Down, I did not know her personally like I do now, right?
Yes.
I did not know her personally, but I used to read her stuff that she used to post on social media pages and everything. And I remember thinking, hey, this chick man can write, you know, she's so talented and everything. So when her book came out, I knew I must get it. She was in Mombasa, I think, or Malindi at that time. Mm-hmm. So she parceled that book to me, and I read it, and I loved it. I still have it up to date.
Yeah.
Of course, now,
Speaking, go on.
No, I'm saying, of course, I've read. Let me quickly look at my shelf. Which other book the local writer is here? Of course, I've read Drunk by Jackson Biko. It's also a good book. Yeah.
Okay, now speaking of Unia, you guys co-authored a book together among many other young writers in the country. Ndugu Abisai, Ivy Aseka, what's the other one? CJ Gasheru. This is just me claiming that I've read the book. Chachuri, Mbabazi. Who else? There are quite a number. I think there are 11 authors, And you know that co-authoring is actually not easy as it may seem on paper. And it's not just submitting your story; it's also choosing a theme and everyone agreeing that this is what we want to do and this is where we want to go. And I'd like to know from experience. Do you find yourself being, because I know Biko is a lone wolf, do you find yourself better as a lone wolf or as part of the pack?
To be honest, I don't think I'm part of the pack, right? I love doing things on my own, especially when it comes to writing and everything, right? But for me, the idea of When a Stranger Called was quite an interesting idea. When Charles called me and he told me, yo, I have an idea about us coming together and writing a book. Random people, you know, just from Facebook and everything. In fact, most of us had never met before. Some of us didn't even know if the others did exist or anything. I thought this is quite an interesting idea. And we didn't have a theme. This is the most interesting part. There was no theme. It was simply write about anything that you want to write. Yeah? About any topic that you feel it's dear to you, and then send us a story. So there was no particular theme. Now, the most interesting thing, again, is that once we submitted our stories, we all seem to be talking almost about the same things. Not necessarily about the same thing, but the topics, yeah? It felt as if we had a theme. And I think that's what makes that book such an amazing book. Because we not only wrote because we can, but we wrote because we decided we wanted to talk about the issues that we are dealing with in our society right now, you know. And the book is so profound when you read it. The topics in there, talking about miscarriage, the things to do with rape, for instance. There are things to do with being a deadbeat. There's things to do with a preacher who's not really a preacher, you know, he's a fake preacher or anything. There's so many things that are amazing about the stories that are in that book. And so for that particular project, it was easy because everyone was writing their own story. Yeah. we are going to publish one book at the end of the day, but everyone was working on their own story. So it wasn't that co-authoring of your chapter 1, I write chapter 2, I write chapter 3, or which I cannot do, because I love, if I'm writing one story, I want to write it from the beginning to the end. And that's what we did with When a Stranger Called. Of course, it came to the editing where to critique our own stories in there, and it was not easy by then to get that book out. WhatsApp group, it was always and all kind of manner of things. Temper, people are getting mad about something. This one said what? Oh, so it was not that easy. But at the end of the day, we were able. And in that regard, I'm proud of I was part of it. Otherwise, other than that, maybe I prefer just doing things on my own.
I hope you're eating. Unajua mimi nasikia njaa, mimi ni Mluya na wewe ni Mluya pia. I think hata interview.
It's even running cold, but
interview tungeifanya na Kiluya, my friend.
Can you speak Luya, by the way?
We are trying to build a national country where language is not a barrier. Do not barricade other people. People should not feel marginalized. We are living in very dangerous times, and people are very soft. Okay, I was told not to say the word soft, but rather we have to show respectability. It's something that we've been discussing a lot with other people about, just the fact that so the politically correct culture, you can't use some terms because people are getting offended quite easily.
True.
Have you felt that seeping into your work lately? And how have you been able to, or rather how do you skirt around these issues in your writing? Because they have to come up, no matter what you do, no matter what you write, there's always someone you might offend. So how do you skirt around such issues in your writing?
Yes. So number one, for me, I don't write to start debates, right? I don't write for purposes. Like, I don't want to write a story so that Eddie can come and tell me do what in the comment section, and then I'll start arguing with Eddie, and then someone else will come, and then it will be turned into a war zone and everything. I don't do that for debates. I simply write stories for people to read, to get entertained, to get informed, and all those manner of things. So if by any chance I say something that will offend someone, I'm sorry, but you're not God. You have to be offended at some point in your life. So offended, and then keep reading. You understand? People who write about maybe politics or things generally that are so emotive, gender issues and all these manner of things, they're the ones who I feel maybe you have to be careful saying ABCD, saying what. But for me, the kind of stories that I write, really, I've never felt like I need to be politically correct about anything. I love writing about things that I believe in, things that interest me, because the moment I start becoming to be politically correct and writing I'll lose interest in whatever I'm writing about, and then I'll quit the whole thing.
So no political correctness for you?
For me, like, there is no political correctness, And when I say there is no political correctness about me, I don't mean that I also want to go out there and just be insulting other people for things they believe in or anything. I try to remain respectful in everything that I do. I try to remain respectful, even the stories that I share. And so if in the process of doing that, I still end up offending someone, that's a different story. But I never want to go out there offending people, and I don't know. So you say, these type of people, they're like this type of people, they're like that. Like, I never want to do that thing, For me, my number one reason of writing is that I want to share interesting things and joy with people. Maybe just spread joy, make people happy and everything. So I'm not making people happy if I'm writing about things that actually just make people sad or make them want to kill me.
I think most of the time when you're walking down the street, maybe in Nairobi, for those who know you, which I should also say that it's on this rare occasion that you happen to show this to the public. We are grateful. I saw your Facebook message of you threatening me at you will not show up. Do what? Empty threats.
Empty.
These are just empty threats. I was like, isn't him as well? But say you're walking down the street or when you're at Java and someone has bought after the storm and they want to sit there with you and say, but unajua Brian, hata mimi nilikuwa naandika composition zangu pale high school. Mrs. Moniki alikuwa ananitambua sana. 38 over 40, 39 over 40. Ndio tuwezi nipatia 40 over 40 juu watu wataanza kuteta kijana nini na nini. But do you get that at times? Do you get people who keep on telling you, I used to be a writer, they want to show you that they can also write. you get that a lot of time.
I get that a lot of time. It's not in the streets, because I rarely go out. I rarely meet people. So that's maybe, I don't know, unless I'm meeting someone who's bought a book, like you said, and then we'll start talking about it. But I usually get it in my DM, right? Guys who come and tell me, even Mimi, I want to start writing. Someone will come and tell you, I have a story, I don't know how I can begin to tell it, and all these manner of things and everything. I think everyone, in a way, has a story to tell. And so I get that a lot. And for me, what I usually do is this. If someone generally believe that they have the talent to write, or they have the passion to write, and they come for me for genuine advice, for advice or anything, I always share it. I always share, like, if you want to write, maybe you need to do ABCD, you need to do ABCD. However, for people who seem to understand what they are doing. And when I say that, I mean, like, you simply have an idea that you can write, and then you come for advice. What am I even advising you on? If you're working on a particular story, for instance, and you come and tell me, I'm working on a certain story, but I'm stuck at such and such a place. I can't seem to be finding my way around a certain issue. I don't know how to bring it out. I might be able to help you. If you come and tell me I'm trying to publish, I want to write my own book, I don't know the publishing process. The most question that I really never want to get is about how do I publish my book? Because it's a very long process. I even remember at some point I wrote a post about it and shared it on my Facebook page. I was like, if you guys ever need to write, I know it was quite a while. It's been a while since, but I was like, if you want any information about publishing, this post, So when people come, this is the thing. When someone comes to you and tells you, I want to publish my own book, how do I go about it? It's not as simple as, do ABCD and then it's done. It's a very long process. There's so many things that needs to be done. And most of the information, by the way, genuinely, and with a lot of respect, you can find this information online. If you just go and Google this stuff, you will find it. So if you come for me, or if you go to anyone for any advice, at least to make sure it's not something that you can easily Google and find all the information. Because sometimes if you are getting one request or two, it's easy to handle. But if they become many, it means you'll have to stop whatever you're doing with your life and simply start answering these questions. So if you want to become a writer, like I said about how I write my stories, simply start writing them. Forget about the structure, forget about the everything. If you need to come to me for advice, or you need to go to anyone else for advice, number one, try to ask yourself, can I really get this answer somewhere else? Can I just log in on Google and Google this thing and find my answers? If you can, do that. So that when you're going to someone, it's actually the question that no one else at least can answer, not even Google can help you with. That way it becomes easy.
Amazeballs. You've said something about, when people keep coming to you with questions about the writing process. And I think this should be the last interview I'm going to do about writing. So I'll try as much to cover everything so that in case they ever need something, you just send them a link. And
send them a link.
It's there. Yeah.
Perfect.
You get to hear my voice and, you get to see me answering the question.
It's a win.
Yeah. What are the 3 skills that one needs to be a creative writer? The 3 that come top of mind.
The three of
I
the
know
three
there are
what?
many, but I just want 3 skills that one needs to become a writer or a creative writer.
3 skills.
Yeah.
Number one, you have to be creative. Number one,
Yeah.
you have to be creative.
Yes.
You have to be consistent. Like you need to be a very consistent, uh, and at the same time, you need to be a very good reader. For me, I think I don't know whether those are skills, but I feel like if you are going to be a creative writer, you need, of course, the skills, the talent, yeah, to be able to do this. Uh, you need to be able to actually read and absorb what you are reading, or feel I
Yeah.
connect to whatever I'm reading here uh,
Yeah.
in my own stories, and also be consistent.
Yeah.
If you cannot be consistent with anything you do, maybe you shouldn't try writing. Yeah.
Yes.
If reading is not your thing, you simply read and then you forget about everything you've read, maybe writing cannot be for you, you know.
Yes.
Of course, if you
Yeah.
don't have the talent, please, you can try becoming a rapper.
But how can you become a rapper if you can't write? See, rappers need to write. They're Jay-Z.
You just to say, no, 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 ra. This is what I
Which
did, by the
reminds
way.
me,
This is what I
yeah,
did to
which reminds me of
rappers.
a rumor that
Yeah.
used to go around that you used to be a musician.
I used to
When I
be
was
a
doing my research, you used to be
I
called
used
the
to
True
be
Voice or something at which place is this? This one I know. Funny something. Funny is
I
let me
used
see. Let me see. I have that notes here. You used to become a music producer, True Voice at Studio 15.
yeah, don't try
Yeah.
to play that. Don't try to play that thing. Mm. I've worked so hard to be where I am right now. You're able to take me back. Yeah. but you know,
Yes.
I used to be I I don't want to say I used to be a musician because I never went anywhere with that talent anyway, right?
Yeah.
But at
Yes.
that time I think I was at a stage where I was trying to find my true calling,
Yeah.
if I may put it that way.
Yeah.
I did not know what exactly it is that I want to do. Where does my talent lie? And you
Yeah.
know, like even right now, you can see even with the Gengeton, now everyone just going to studio recording their own music. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just simply them trying to find out, is this really the course that I want to pursue? Is it the path I want to follow or not? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in the process of discovery. That's why there's someone who will release music, you listen to it and feel it's good. Then someone will be like, maybe you should try something else. But it's that discovery stage. For me, it was a discovery stage. I wanted to find out, am I really, can I really sing? And if I can I actually make something out of it? Yeah, because at that time I wasn't even thinking about becoming a writer. It was not my priority. But eventually, when I found out that I can actually write, I stopped that music business. I never want
Yeah.
to go back. Maybe unless writing songs for people, I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind, you know. But
Yes.
going as a musician, I don't think it's something I can do because I don't have the talent.
Well, but if you need to be consistent and to be a good reader. But now that means that we need to also tackle the question of creativity. Do you think
Yeah.
everyone is born? Do you think everyone can be a creative? Because people are asked, "Oh my God, I'm not a creative," or others are like, "I'm creative," but then you tell them, "Show me what you've created." Then you don't want to hurt their feelings, and you just say it has potential. You just
For
keep
me,
them going. It has potential. Yeah.
I, 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 I genuinely believe that everyone is creative in their own
Yeah.
way, right? Like for instance, I am a creative writer, yeah, but maybe I cannot do something like graphic design, which is another form of creativity, right? I cannot, I'm not a graphic designer, so I can't design anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
I cannot, not even a house or anything. This interior design. There are people who come up with creative solutions for their problems, for instance. I remember like Kitambo, especially in most Simbas, Simbas are my boys, right? Guys will have a speaker imeshikanishwa I think na jerrycan ama mtungi ya maji or something.
Yeah.
And then itakuwa ina act like a woofer or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this person, they actually did not know that is actually
Yes.
a creative thing to do, but they did it, right? So creativity, I feel like everyone has some level of creativity. We're just creative in different fields. Yeah. So it's just upon you to find out what is it exactly that I can do best, right? Because even think about it. Even if it comes to counting money, yeah. If you gave 5 people here, let's say a bundle of let's say 20,000 shillings, and tell them to count this money, there's one person who will actually finish faster than the other one. Maybe because they're fast, but also maybe because they have a creative way of counting this thing. They know how to count faster without necessarily going to do one and all these kind of things, right? So I believe everyone is a creative. We're just creative in different ways. You need to find out where does my creativity lie? Is it in writing? Is it in singing? Like we have people who are great musicians, but they cannot write their own lyrics, right? Someone has to write it for them.
Yeah.
So find out how creative, I mean, where does your creativity lie? But I believe everyone is creative. I don't think you can survive in this world without some level of creativity. You cannot.
Yeah.
Problems will kill you. Yeah. Shida zitakuua hii you will not survive.
That is not a very hopeful thing to tell. Unajua, right now we're all operating on hope during this COVID period, and then you just come and crash everyone's spirit.
No, but that's why. But
sell hope.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
There's a reason even after even with this pandemic, we've lost people have lost their businesses, their sources of income. But in one way or another, we are still surviving, right? Like we are finding ways to survive. We're finding ways to survive. And for me, the creativity lies in that finding of this way to survive. If you've discovered that I can do ABCD and actually survive, then you are a creative person. You're just doing it. Yeah, it's only that maybe you're not writing and sharing whatever you're doing so that people can see how creative you are, but you are a creative person. You see? Yeah. For me, creativity is all about finding solutions to just common problems, like interesting solutions to common problems. Yeah? That's all what creativity is all about. It's not really inventing anything.
Interesting solutions to problems. That's what creativity is about. Now, I can't believe that we are almost coming to the end of the show, because normally for me to talk to you this much, I have to buy you a drink.
Yeah. I can't remember the last time you bought me anything. Yeah.
Kwani that shirt that you're wearing, who bought it? See, I am the one who and I told you to wear that shirt that I bought you because the screen will be white. People are thankless in this Nairobi, man. But what to single. I still have a few couple of questions before I let you go.
That's okay.
And these are good personal questions. So, out there on Facebook, where or on the social media sphere where people are, you find that there are a lot of writers, and there's Silas, there's Ivy, there's you, there's Abisai, there's so many people are writing on Facebook. Or
Kina Eddie.
We are Nekonga Kando.
Kina Eddie masquerading as writers.
Yeah, there's us masquerading there as writers as well.
Yeah.
But then how do you differentiate your work? Because first of all, congratulations on hitting 18,000 followers.
Thank you.
I think that's a big milestone. And
thank you.
Good job on that.
Thank you.
To be able to get all this kind of followers, it means either you're doing something right or you're doing something very wrong, and people want to
very wrong. People like, I cannot believe this man It's actually
Yeah, then
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, so they want to watch that stupidity of yours grow.
Yes.
So how do you differentiate your work out there or online? How do you make sure that people they know that kuna jamaa anaitwa Brian na ni
Yeah.
Mbanacho na ni writer
Yeah.
mwingine? You know, how do you keep your work fresh and differentiated?
So for me, it's interesting because by the time I started writing, I didn't know any of these people you've mentioned. Most of them I've come to learn about them much later. Yeah. Akina Ndugu Bisai, Akina Ivy Seka, Akina Silas, and everything. So this means by the time I started reading them, I was still writing, and I was still writing the way that I write. So for me, I stay true to my style of writing. I stay to the things that I write about. I never necessarily write about anything. For instance, I never write anything political. I don't write about I don't write about politics. I never want to come across as someone who is teaching people to do ABCD. I'm not a teacher for that matter. So basically, my style of writing is actually entertaining. Humor is something that I love, and so I always make sure in anything that I write, except for very, very, very rare occasions, I make my stories humorous. So I think that's how I do it. When I read the other guys, I appreciate what they're doing. They're doing amazing stuff and everything, but I try to start change how I write so that I can start writing like them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when life hits you and you know the doctor tells you laughter is the best medicine, you just go to Mbanacho's page and you know dose that you take the dose that you need. Alafu niweka kwa namba yake ya M-Pesa unamtumia kakitu.
Tuma kakitu.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They should remember to call within government hours. Unajua COVID vaccine hours only. Before 8 p.m.
before 8 p.m. And in the morning at least from 11 kuendelea.
Yeah.
Between 11 and 8 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Hao ndio watu wanakula economy vizuri. Mtu anaamka saa 5 ndio economy. When it comes to life, say something. I know you want to say something.
I was going to say, I work a lot at night, right?
Yes.
So at night I'm working in the day. I'm not persons. I never want to wake up early. So to compensate, I work a lot at night. Yeah.
Hey. Even I work a lot at night. I work a lot on my appetites. Cooler.
Well, you go to bed at 9:30. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you know? How did you know this?
I'm a psycho.
ama ni vile mimi unajua naambiwa good night saa 4. Alafu unaambiwa sasa bed. Kwa hiyo ndio unaambiwa sasa. Ai.
Nairobi si mchezo. Yeah.
Si mchezo bwana. Ile ni shamba la. But in life there's say today God forbid but God has come to you and said, Mbanacho, it's time. You're coming home, my son. You're coming home.
Yeah.
Ile shamba nilikuwa nimekuambia milk and honey, it's ready. Nimeshika picha yako. I know you're a very proud person. So picha yako nimeweka hapo kwa mlango kama Uhuru. But before I call you home, I'm giving you 1 minute or 30 seconds to tell people on the earth the 3 things that you've learned in life, the 3 things that you know to be true in your life, in your career, just the 3 lessons that you'd like to pass on to the next generation before you go and occupy your mansion in heaven.
The 3 things, right? The first thing for me, I'll say, number 1 would be like talent pays. For a long time, up to date, people rarely know, especially my family members. They never really know how does this guy survive. Because like you say, they call me in the morning, I'm still sleeping, and all these amount of things and everything. But because I've been able to work on my talent, I've been able to write a few books out there. and I keep writing here and there, I'm able to make money and survive on it. Even when things get tough, I still manage to remain afloat. So the one first thing is talent pays. If you have talent, don't let it go to waste. The second thing is that I've learned in life, or rather that I find true, is that you'll always find a way. Most of the times, we never really know the potential that we have until we hit rock bottom. We never know the amazing things that we can do. But when you hit rock bottom, you'll always know, you'll always find out that, listen, there's a way I can get out of this mess. Like I said, I had a job, I've had a few jobs here and there, and then I transitioned into freelancing. There are days where no one is buying a book. There are days where nothing seems to be happening. But for some reason, I always find a way to make money and stay afloat. So you'll always find a way. Don't feel trapped or anything. Just know there's a way you can get yourself out of that problem, even if it's reaching out to people and all that manner of things. The the third thing is that Chapo is the truth. No one should tell you otherwise. Chapo is the truth. I believe people don't love Chapos as psychos. They cannot be trusted. They should not be trusted, and they have no reason even being in this universe, because Chapo is the thing. It's the it. Those are the three things.
I agree with everything. You'll always find a way. Talent pays, but before it pays, first of all, you have to have talent. I think
you have to work for it.
You have to have talent. And Chapo is the truth.
Chapo is the truth.
I don't know how. I find it very weird, that someone says, "Oh, Chapo is not, oh, street out, oh, dream my stomach." No. That's for you. That's for you.
Those ones, they have issues that they need to go and address. They should not try to pin it on Chapo or anything.
Yes.
Chapo has been here since the last supper that Jesus had. It was Chapo.
And he's still here. And it's going to be long after you're gone.
That's why he's resurrected after the third day. He was like, nah, I'm going to stay dead, and there's still Chapo in the world. That is blasphemy.
I just like to tell Jesus that I'm not part of that joke, and I'd like to excuse myself from and distance myself from Brian Mbanacho's sentiments about Chapo and Jesus. And
no, easy. That was on a lighter note. I know. I don't offend Christians.
Do not. Utakuwa cancelled.
No, Jesus has a sense of humor. Jesus has a sense of humor. That's why he was using parables and all these manner of things, because he was a good storyteller. And you cannot be a good storyteller if you don't have any sense of humor.
I'd have loved to be part of his crew of Jesus there. I'd just be there like, Jesus! Form. And he creates a bench. Play your form. Yes, man. But I've been asking you questions the whole afternoon, and in life it's always good. You give some, you take some. Now I'm giving you an opportunity to ask me a question, and please don't ask me when I'm coming to visit you. COVID-19 and all that. So go on, ask me a question. Ask me a question.
So if I'm going to ask you a question, it will be, what are you most grateful for in life? What are you grateful for?
Why are you getting me sentimental?
It's a good day to be sentimental.
What am I grateful for? Good question. First of all, I'd like to just be, I'm grateful for a lot of things. One of it is the ability to withstand whatever life throws at you. And family and love and friendship. I think
Yeah.
mostly I'm grateful for the human connection that I've
Okay.
managed to create with the people in my life.
Yes.
Just most of the time, that's it. Just, you can always have someone to talk to,
Yes.
or just anytime you feel, you're bored or you're feeling some type of way, there's always a person out there who
Yeah.
understands your situation. You're not alone. So that
Yeah. Not
human
alone.
connection that we have as human beings, as Kenyans, as brothers, sisters, just that.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that. I do not take it for granted.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
What
It's actually a
about
very
you?
good
Now
answer.
that you've asked me that question, what are you grateful for?
Yeah. So I would have said everything you've said, yeah.
Yes.
But now since you've said the most important things, I think right now I'm most grateful for my health.
Yeah.
We are in a pandemic. We've been in a pandemic for over a year now. I'm still here. I'm still healthy, at least for now.
Yeah.
My family members are healthy, at least most of them.
Mm.
They're healthy, and
Yes.
I think right now that's the one thing I'm most grateful for.
Mm.
On top of everything else that you've said, because they are friends, family, and all these guys, my readers, Uh, actually, even my readers, you know why?
Mm.
Because rarely do I get into confrontation with my readers. You know how this moment where you're
Mm.
writing something, and then
Mm.
every day when you come in the comment section, just whoa, 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 whoa. I
Mm.
love the fact that I've been blessed with readers who have a good sense of humor, and they're able to tell this person is joking when I write about certain things, and they're able to laugh about it. We laugh about ourselves, and we go on about our lives without really trying to fight or do those crazy things. So that's also an amazing thing. To have an amazing audience with a great
Yeah.
sense of humor and support.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's beautiful, and just I think it's good that you brought up the gratitude part, because as sometimes as human beings we may tend to forget to be thankful for what we have. So
Yes.
I'm thankful also for you coming to the show. You're a busy man, and trying making time for Ashioya for 1 hour, which I'm being reliably informed by my moderator that we are way past. So I'm grateful for
Yeah.
you coming. Spending. I know it
And
took a lot. Wache kupika, kuosha vyombo. Those things
kuosha
that you do.
vyombo, kuosha curtains and everything.
Kuosha curtain, ukanivalia mpaka shati on a Friday. So I'm grateful for that as well.
No,
But
a pleasure, man. It's been a
yeah,
pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
okay.
Yeah.
You are welcome, my guy. You are welcome. Anytime.
Anytime.
But lastly, before I let you go, okay, not
Yes.
anytime. Past 8 p.m. usinipigie.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Before I let you go, I'd like to
Yes.
know. Many people have their own definition of success, but I want to know what's yours. How do you define success at the end of the day, when all is said and done, when it's just you, your maker, and me there reading the notes to Jesus and reminding him these are the things that he did on earth. Yes,
Yeah.
here. I'd like to know how would you have defined success? What is a successful life according to you?
According to me. So,
Yeah.
of course, I know about success. You might want to talk about money. Because I don't have money, let me leave that part alone.
He actually has money, and he's throwing you off.
I don't have money. For me, the idea of success is being at peace with yourself.
Yes.
Being at peace with yourself in the sense that no one somewhere, whether they are praying to God, crying out, saying, "Oh, so and so did ABCD for me." Like you're doing. You've been good to people. You've been good to your parents. You've been good to your friends, and you're contented with your life. You're earning a living the right way. So that you don't make money by making other people suffer or all those minor things. I know I make people happy with my stories and everything. I assume I do. So for me, being at peace with yourself For me, that's a definition of success, because
Yeah.
it's never an easy thing. Most of the time we have so many in our life. That's what life is about, right? But if you're at peace with yourself, with what you do, with your relationships, and with everything else, yeah, I might say you're successful. If you have money in the bank, even better.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Guys, that was Brian Mbanacho, the writer. You can follow him on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, but please don't follow him home. Mutachapwa. Utamwagiwa Majimoto. But
No.
speaking of
Yeah.
Majimoto, unajua, when I posted your picture on my status, everyone was like, anakanga vizuri hivi. I was like, hello, I'm here as well. You don't care about my self-esteem. Ati, huyu jamaa kwa na sura poa, akigosh, nipatie namba yake, sijui nini, mpaka wanaume wako like, ubrabe ni danger, huyu. So, because I'm sure it happens a lot to you, especially in the inbox. How do you handle this female attention and male attention, considering you're in 2021 and people don't, you know, in 2021, watu wajali, mtu anasema Mbanacho, mimi nimekuona na nimekupenda. How do you handle this female attention or male attention?
I don't think I get that much attention, to be honest. I don't come and start
You don't have
lying.
to be modest.
People come and nini pale. But you see, for me, it's a good thing when people admire you for whatever reason and everything.
Yeah.
And I think as human beings, we love it when we're admired. It means either we're doing something right, or we look a certain way, I don't know, those kind of things. But for me, at the end of the day, it's remaining true to my, like, I know the reason I'm right, I'm out here doing whatever I'm doing is not necessarily I can start messing around with girls and all these kind of things. That's not my priority, you know. So I'll say, yeah, we will interact and everything. Yeah. If anything, God had planned something will come out of all these DMs and everything. Maybe something will come out, but that's not my priority. That's not why I'm out there, you know.
Yeah.
So simply take it with grace and everything, you know, and you keep it moving in a humble way and respectful way sometimes.
You keep it moving in a humble and respectful way. Those are the very sweet words. I can understand why everyone is in his DMs. Unaona vile anataka kudeflect maswali. I'm sure after writing it about competition. But that was Brian Mbanacho, my guys, and it was a good show. I don't know if Mbanacho, you want to have the final word before I let you go?
Yeah, I can, of course. I'm here. You made me take a photo, create a post and all these kind of things, and now I'm here. Things I never do, but it's been a pleasure to be here. We've known each other for not such a long time, but I think for the period of time to Mejuana, it's enough, you know, for me to know you're an amazing person, and that's why it was easy for me to come here and have this chat with you. I'm also happy you're doing this thing via this video thingy, because ordinarily I'll be meeting you on a Friday and buying you things when I don't really like spending money on you, you know. So thank you for making sure this thing is only happening. Thank you for making sure this thing is happening virtually, because I was thinking I need to start the bank account for your expenses. The things are out there. So this is actually amazing. But no, it's been an amazing chat. Always awesome talking to you. What you're doing with your Zero Chills TV, all the best. Hopefully we keep doing it and keep getting bigger with time. And for everyone else who has tuned in, if you've been listening, you've been watching, thank you for making time to listen. You don't take it for granted. Keep reading, keep sharing amazing stuff, and let's keep interacting and keeping each other sane. That's all.
That's Brian Mbanacho for you, the man with the words. Not time meaning is a box up. I was just blushing there at you. Oh, we met a few months ago. Oh, I'm spending money on you. I'm like, who is this guy? What are you? Okay, so that's what happens when you meet as creative writers. It was a great, amazing start, and make sure you buy his books. By the way, he has 3 collections out. He has After the Storm, which was his first book, The Honorables, which is going to have a sequel. I know that's not my news to break, but I had to. And When a Stranger Called, among many others. So Ebu, drop your handles up what will follow Raka now, so that they can find your book.
So for me, it's simply Brian Mbanacho, or Mbanacho, whichever name you prefer, whichever sequence you prefer. But I'm simply Brian Mbanacho on Facebook, Brian Mbanacho the writer. That's the page. On Instagram, Mbanacho Brian. On Twitter, which I don't know, I even don't know what I'm doing on Twitter with my 20 followers.
They're actually 55.
Yes. Yeah, but still Mbanacho Brian. So if you need anything, you can always DM me on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever, and we can always talk. And if there's anything you need, we can always talk about it. Yeah.
And that was Brian Mbanacho. If I add anything, I will be subtracting. I had an amazing time with him. I'm not even tired. So guys, see you next Friday when we bring a more handsome guest than this. I know nimeangusha standard kidogo. So nitatafutia msana kapo kidogo next time. Thank you for tuning in. See you next Friday. Mbanacho.
All right. Yeah.